Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So y'all, today I want to make a video on fruity floral fragrances in my collection that remind me of spring and summer. And I wanted to come in here first so I could show you guys the fragrances that I've been wearing lately. So of course I've got my florals up top, and I kind of wanted to show y'all how I have this organized, or a little bit of how I have it organized and what I'm wearing right now and how I'm rotating it in order to get the most out of my collection. So up here I have my floral fragrances, and as you guys know, I did a video on these on the first day of spring, and I have the majority of my floral fragrances right here, but the ones that wouldn't fit, I have them in another section, and I can easily rotate these around as I use them and rotate them out with my other floral fragrances that I have. So that's what I have on the top shelf is florals. So of course, since it's spring, I've been wearing my floral fragrances lately. And then I've also been wearing my other spring fragrances. And these are the fragrances that were in my video that I made for spring fragrances that came after the floral video that I originally made on the first day of spring. So that's what I have right here, and it's the same type of setup with this. The ones that wouldn't fit up here, I have another section for those. And as I go through these and use these, I can rotate them out with the other ones. But this is kind of the main area where I'm keeping fragrances that I'm wearing right now, the fragrances that I'm wearing the most. And then down here on the bottom tier of this rack, I have my fruity floral fragrances. And again, the ones that don't fit in here, I kind of just have them to the side. I did not put them up yet because I was planning on doing a video on them. So I just wanted to take a minute to show you guys like the way I have it set up for the fragrances that I'm mainly reaching for right now. So this is kind of what I've been doing, and it's been working, and I really like this system because it helps me to get the most out of my collection. Again, you know, not everything that I own is going to fit in these racks, but I can put the majority of them in the racks. And what I've been doing is once I use the ones on front, then I move those to the back and pull the other ones forward. And you know, once I start getting through some of these, the ones that would not fit on the rack, I can rotate them out and put them on the rack as well. So it's a good way to stay organized and keep up with what I'm wearing and what I want to wear. And I'm really liking this system that I'm doing right now, so really enjoying it. But you know, been wearing these since spring started. And then also my other spring fragrances that I did, the second video that I did for spring fragrances was just called like more spring fragrances or something like that. That's where I've got these at. So I've been wearing these, and I have started wearing my fruity floral fragrances as well. So I've been talking about this video for a little while, the fruity floral fragrance video that I was wanting to do, and I'm finally getting around to filming today. And I'm excited to be filming because I have not filmed since like last week, and I've been wanting to talk about these fragrances. So yeah, so I'm excited to make the video. So I'm not going to show you guys the rest of my fragrance collection and the way I have it set up, you know, like my entire fragrance collection, or even where I have the rest of these, because it's just in another place in my room. So I'm not going to go into that, but I did want to show y'all this rack and just kind of talk about what I'm mainly wearing right now. And these are the main things that I am reaching for. So this rack is great for this, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to, I think, organize this just a little bit before I start the video, but I think I actually am going to just go ahead and film in here instead of going into my couch, into my living room and sitting on my couch like I normally do. I think I'm just going to film right here. But I did want to put these in order of the ones that remind me more of spring and kind of start there. And, then I'll talk about the other fragrances, the ones that are kind of like both spring and summer, and then the ones that mainly make me think of summer as well. Now, I have started wearing some of these. Some of these make me think of earlier in the spring, but I just recently, maybe within the last couple weeks, I started getting into my fruity florals because I was mainly focused on these fragrances and these fragrances right here. But I have worn these 3 so far. So I have started reaching for these, and like I said, especially these 3 right here, these really make me think of like early spring. I think I have some more in here that do as well, but I don't really have these in the order of the seasons that they remind me of. So I am thinking that I'm going to pause the video in a minute and just kind of get it a little bit more in order, so we can go through in more of like a chronological order, like what makes me think more of spring and what makes me think more of summer. So I think I'm going to do that. And I have said before in my other videos that I was thinking about making this video, and I had asked you guys, would y'all want a spring fruity floral video and then a summer fruity floral video, or would you guys want me to do the whole thing? But I went ahead and decided on doing the whole thing because I looked through my collection, and all these that I have here are the ones that I had picked for this video. So I was like, you know what, that's not too many to make for one video, so I think I'll just go ahead and do it that way. And plus there are some of these that make me think of spring and summer, so I was like, I'll just go through it that way. But yeah, so I'm going to pause the video and straighten this up and get it in order of what reminds me of spring first, and we'll start with those. We're going to talk about like the ones that make me think of spring, and then the ones that make me think of summer. And I will say that some of these definitely would have been great options for when I made my spring fragrances video, whenever I talked about the ones that are up here on this rack. But because I knew I was going to be making this fruity floral video, I went ahead and saved it for this video. But like some of these right here would have been really good options, and these of course too would have been great options for my spring fragrance video. So if you watch that video, whenever I talk about these right here, those could have definitely, at least these, I'm sure there's more in here too, those could have easily been included in that video, but I had decided to save them for this video since I knew I was going to be making it. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I ended up just dividing these up into 3 separate groups. So first I'll talk about the ones that make me think more of spring, and then I will talk about the ones that are kind of can go both ways, spring or summer, and then also the ones that make me think more of summer. Again, a lot of these would have fit very well into my spring fragrances video, but because I knew I was going to make this fruity floral video, I decided to save these for this video. So again, some of these make me think of not only spring but like early spring, and this is one that makes me think of more early spring, even though I just took these out and started using them maybe a couple weeks ago is when I started picking up my fruity floral fragrances, just because I've had so many like other spring ones and floral ones I've been reaching for. But I do feel like the system that I'm currently doing is a great way to get the most out of my collection, and that's why I am enjoying doing it the way that I'm doing it right now. But I usually keep fragrances, like the main fragrances that I'm reaching for, I usually keep them on this shelf, but I have many more shelves where I have fragrances that I still use at the same time as well. But for the most part, the ones that I'm mainly going to be reaching for, especially like the seasonal ones, those go on this white wire shelf is where I keep those. So first we have Pretty as a Peach by Bath & Body Works, and this one is one of the fragrances that is part of the core collection, and the fragrance notes in this are blushing peach, jasmine petals, white nectarine, apple blossom, and sheer freesia. So this one is a very clean scent, and it's got a little bit of fruitiness to it, and it's also got the florals in it. I will say that I do have some other fragrances in my collection that have both fruity and floral notes, but for this video, for the most part, I tried to go off of scent fragrances that to me lean more towards being a fruity floral like scent profile. So that's what I tried to pick for this video, and that's why I included this one. But this one also really leans towards like a clean fragrance. So I have considered putting this on my shelf with my fresh and clean fragrances. It's also a little bit shampoo-y, which I really love. And this one does not smell like a really juicy, sweet candy-like peach, like a peach ring scent. Like, it's not like that at all. This is more of just a fresh and clean, slightly floral and slightly fruity fragrance. And so really like this, really enjoy it, love it for spring. This one also reminds me specifically of more like earlier in the spring, like, you know, when the weather is still very pleasant. It's not really cool, but it's not really too warm or too hot. The weather's just pleasant, and you're starting to see some flowers like bloom out and stuff like this. That's kind of like what this makes me think of. But I really like this fragrance, and I have already worn this one so far. But this is one that is also good for other times of the year, especially because it's, like I said, it also has like a fresh and clean vibe to it. So I am thinking of putting it in my fresh and clean fragrances at some point, if I no longer have it on this shelf. So another one that I picked for this video was Sweet Sunrise by Body Fantasies. So this one, to me, obviously it's very fruity floral. Even like the front of the packaging has like fruits and flowers on it. So very fruity floral. I believe this has like grapefruit or orange in it, and it looks like there's some berries on the front. And then of course the flowers. So yeah, this kind of reminds me of the scent of like bathroom fresheners from like the 90s. I feel like back in the 90s, all of the bathroom air fresheners smell basically the same. Like they had that like sweet floral scent. I think some people describe it as like grandma's floral, or like grandma's floral air freshener or something like that. That is really what this makes me think of. But it's definitely not a bad scent at all. It's not one that I'm crazy about. So this is one that once I use it up, I don't think it's one that I would repurchase because I'm not like super in love with it or anything. But it's okay. And it's definitely a fruity floral from my collection. So I wanted to include it. And I don't think I have worn that one yet this year. But I will probably leave it over here so I can get to it at some point. Okay, so the next one that makes me think of spring, and this one is pretty much identical to Pretty as a Peach. So I'm wondering if Bodycology meant for this to be a dupe of Pretty as a Peach from Bath & Body Works, because this is like basically the same exact scent. And the fragrance scents in this are clementine, peach, and berry. And it's on the back, it says a delightfully fresh and juicy peach fragrance highlighted with notes of clementine, berry, and jasmine. So very, very similar to Pretty as a Peach by Bath & Body Works. And yeah, these pretty much smell the exact same. And I have already worn this one as well. This is another one that makes me think of very early spring, pretty much because these smell exactly the same. So yeah. Okay, then next I have Raspberry and Daisy by Bodycology. The fragrance notes in this are ripened raspberry and daisy petals. And on the back it says, you'll adore the cheerful and sweet blend of raspberries and daisies. So this is exactly what it says, raspberry and daisy. It has that very tart and sweet raspberry note in it. And then it's got the floral daisies. The daisies are, they really stand out in this, and they just give it like a really like sweet and floral like lift to the fragrance. So I really like this and I really enjoy it. I actually got this at an Ollie's store. I don't know if you guys have those. I don't know if everybody that's watching has an Ollie's near where they live, but it's kind of like similar to Big Lots or Dirt Cheap, or not exactly like Dirt Cheap, more close to like a Big Lots store or something like that. But if you go to their body care aisle, they usually have some fragrances over there, and you can get them for like really cheap. Like this one was only $2. And yeah, so I had to scoop it up. So they don't always have a lot to choose from in their fragrances or anything like that. Like sometimes they'll have like 2 or 3 things to choose from, but I have bought several fragrances from there, and this is one of them. And I was just glad that I found a Bodycology fragrance that was not like the ones that are normally on the shelves at like retail stores like Walmart and places like that. I had never seen this one before, so I was excited to find it. But yeah, this is a really good one, and I really like it. And it's one that I have also already worn, and it does make me think of earlier in the spring, but it's one that's also good for year round, for sure. Okay, so next I have Sugar Peach by Body Fantasies. This is another peach fragrance. Now this one is more of a sweet candy peach scent, and it's just as good as the other peach ones that I talked about. It really just depends on what you're in the mood for, because depending on your mood, I think you might prefer one over the other. This one's definitely more strong with like the peach coming through, very candy-like, sort of like a peach ring candy scent. And then it's also got the florals in there. You can see on the packaging, this is very much fruity floral, but it's got the florals in there too, and you can smell those as well, and it just kind of balances everything out and just makes it a little bit lighter. Even though peach makes me think of spring, it reminds me even more of spring, obviously, because it's got the florals in there. But it's a really good one, and I really enjoy it. Okay, next I've got Gingham Gorgeous by Bath & Body Works, and this has fragrance notes of pink strawberries, peach nectar, and peony blooms. This is a really, really beautiful, beautiful scent. It reminds me of the color pink. It's sweet, it's fruity, it's floral, and it's just really, really good. The peach and the strawberry in here, they just blend together so well. And they do not stand out distinctly on their own. Like, I don't smell of this and immediately say, oh, this has peach in it. Like, if I didn't know the fragrance notes, I wouldn't immediately think peach. I wouldn't immediately think strawberry. This is just a very nicely blended fragrance that creates, like, its own scent. You know what I mean? Like, the notes themselves don't stand out. They just blend together to create a very sweet, beautiful scent that really reminds me of the color pink. And it's just beautiful. And it even looks like a springtime fragrance, in my opinion. Really beautiful scent. Really would have been great in my other spring fragrances or more spring fragrances video. I don't remember exactly what I named it, but it was just spring fragrances that were not part of my floral video for the first day of spring. So this would have been good for that, but because I knew I was going to be making fruity floral videos, or a fruity floral video, I hadn't decided at the time if I was going to just do one with all of them or do a spring one and a summer one. But anyways, I knew I was going to be doing something like that, and so I saved it for this video. But really beautiful. This is one that I can't wait to wear. And yeah, I'm excited that I've started wearing some of these because pretty soon it will be time to get my tropical fragrances out, and I'm so excited about those. So right now I'm wanting to get as much use as I can out of these, because I don't wait till the first day of summer to pull out my tropical fragrances, because I want to get as much use out of my tropical fragrances as I can once the weather starts turning hot and we start getting closer to summer, because tropical fragrances are some of my absolute favorites. So I will pull them out pretty soon and start getting some use out of them. And obviously we'll hopefully make videos on those too. So for now, I want to be using these and my other ones and getting as much use as I can out of these. I will continue to use a large majority of these through the summer as well. But I will just mainly be reaching for my tropicals once we get closer to summer. Okay, so next we have Orange Flower Sun by Victoria's Secret. On the back it says Citrus Blossoms Awaken Blush Woods Bubblegum Petals. So this is citrusy and floral. And it says bubblegum petals, which is really interesting. It kind of makes me think of like a video game or a movie where there's like a candy land or something, and everything is made out of like candy. Like if you had like a flower and the petals were like actual bubble gum. That's what that makes me think of. So yeah, so this is sweet. It's bubblegummy. It's citrusy. And this one is really more sweet than anything. But if you smell of it closely, then you definitely smell the citrus blossoms. So it doesn't smell like super, super floral because the citrus blossoms, I think, are more of a citrusy scent. It does still smell like some floral is in here. Like the citrus blossoms are not just citrus, like it's like actual like blossoms, like a floral note. So that's kind of what this smells like. And again, more sweet because it's got the bubblegum petals. And also, like I said, it smells a little bit floral, and I was thinking probably from the citrus blossoms. But if there's another note in here that's like a petal note, then the floral that I'm smelling could just be coming from that. So yeah, it's a good fragrance. Really like it. It definitely makes me think of spring. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put all these on the rack right now. I really just wanted to get them organized enough so that I could separate them up and kind of sort of try to differentiate between spring and summer with these. Again, some of them make me think specifically of spring, even though they're perfectly fine to wear other times during the year. And then some of them make me think of specifically of summer. And then I have some that can kind of go both ways. So I just try to separate it up that way. Okay, so then I have Mandarin Honeysuckle. This is a fragrance by Victoria's Secret. And on the back it says, energized with the scent of Mandarin Honeysuckle, botanical inspiration, total exhilaration. This is a fragrance that I use a good bit like throughout the year because I use this as a transitional scent whenever we're going from summer to fall. And this is another one that works great for other times of the year too, specifically right now. Because it does have the honeysuckle and also the mandarin. I just absolutely love citrus scents, and this is a true citrus. Like the mandarin really comes through in this. And I know y'all can't see me on the video, but I'm smelling of my arm right now. I sprayed this on my arm and I'm smelling of it to give you guys an accurate description. But yeah, the citrus really comes through. And then obviously you can smell the honeysuckle as well. So this is just the perfect, easy reach, fragrance for right now. Just an everyday, delicious scent. I really like this. I don't know if you guys have ever actually smelled honeysuckles, but we have a lot of honeysuckles where I live. So, I'm familiar with the scent of honeysuckle anyway. And, but this, it smells like what it says. It's got the mandarin in here and then the honeysuckle comes through. This is really an underrated scent from Victoria's Secret and it's just so good. I really like it. And I actually don't even use it as much, as you would think, even though I have it out during a lot of these seasons, which there's quite a significant dent here. But you would think this bottle would already be gone, but it's so good. It's a scent that if I did use this up, I would probably purchase it again just because, like I said, it's got that true citrus in there, the mandarin, and then the honeysuckle comes through. It's just so good. Very underrated. I love this scent from Victoria's Secret. And I have not been on the app in a few weeks now, and I've got to get on there and see if they've came out with any new fragrances because I'm wanting to place an order, so I might do that today. Okay, so then we have Victoria's Secret's Horizon in Bloom, and on the back it says pink cactus, peach nectar, wildflowers shimmer in the distance. This is another one that is great for right now and also like transitional season. So this is like a fragrance that smells floral, but it also smells very fresh and clean. And then it's just got like a little bit of sweetness in there that reminds me of the color pink. So I think it's interesting that the fragrance, one of the fragrance notes in here is pink cactus. And then of course the peach nectar blends with that. And as it dries down, you smell a little bit more of the sweetness. I think the peach is adding to the sweetness in there, the peach nectar. And then the floral comes through as well from the wildflowers. Really like this. This one is one that I've also kept in my Fresh and Clean scents before, I believe. Even though this one definitely pulls more sweet than it does Fresh and Clean, it also reminds me of Fresh and Clean fragrances. But yeah, this one is great for right now. Really, really like it. Okay, and then next I've got this Ruby Rosé fragrance from Victoria's Secret. The fragrance notes in here on the front, it says are raspberry and rose petals. And on the back it says sparkling raspberry, velvet rose dipped decadence. So a really good fragrance. This is another one that is right up my alley with the tart raspberry mixed with the rose. Such a beautiful scent, so pretty and just delicious, because not only is it floral from the rose, it's also very fruity. It's very, very good, and this is probably my favorite one from this collection. Whenever they came out with this collection right here, this is probably my favorite one from it. Really like this one. And this is another one that it's not only great for right now, there's a lot of other times of the year where this one would be really good as well. But I always love fragrances that have especially different fruits blended with like a rose note. I love fragrances like that. But this one is really, really good. Really like it. Okay, I'll just organize these later. Okay, so next I've got Flower Crown by Aeropostale. This is just a fruity floral scent that kind of reminds me of like a cucumber melon scent, but not the same thing. It's very shampooey. This reminds me of like when you're in the bathtub, like when you were a kid, and you know, I don't know if you guys ever used like the L'Oreal Kids like shampoo, but back in the 90s that was like a big deal, was the L'Oreal Kids shampoos. And this kind of reminds me of the scent of those. Maybe that's why it smells shampooey to me. On the back it says Good Vibes Collection. I was thinking there were some fragrance notes on this one, but I guess there's not because I don't see any. But yeah, this is just a sweet, fruity fragrance that kind of reminds me of like a cucumber melon scent. It's not the same thing. It's very shampooey. It's very good. Definitely reminds me of spring. Also because of the packaging, and the name is Flower Crown. So it does make me think of spring, but it's also fruity enough and in a way that reminds me specifically of summer as well, because it is kind of like a sort of like a cucumber melon scent, but not the same. But I definitely think there's something some type of melon note in here, and just giving it that like watery fruit vibe. And anyways, it's just really good. Definitely makes me think of spring and summer. Really like that one. And then next I've got Gingham Vibrant by Bath & Body Works. This has fragrance notes of wild blackberries, candied violets, and soft vanilla. They definitely described these notes perfectly, because you definitely smell the candied violets in here. You smell the blackberries and the soft vanilla. This is another one that, like the other Gingham fragrance I was talking about earlier, this one is blended together so well that it really just sort of creates like its own fragrance. The individual fragrance notes don't really stand out on their own. Like, you can pick them out. I feel like maybe they're a little bit more distinct than the ones in the pink bottle that I was showing you guys earlier. Maybe the notes stand out a little bit more distinctly, but they all blend together to form just like a really beautiful scent. And they really, like I said, they did really good with like the notes, like the way they described the candied violets, because I absolutely can smell that for sure when I smell this. It's a very sweet, floral, fruity fragrance that is perfect for right now, but also perfect for other times of the year. And this is one that, you know, it could also go, it could also be like a summer, like especially like a late summer fragrance. So yeah, definitely makes me think of spring and summer. Okay, then we have Wild Island Orchid by Scentworks. The fragrance notes in here, it says wild orchid and Indonesian jasmine blended with mandarin orange and red berries. And at the top it says floral and exotic, and I would absolutely agree with that. This is floral and exotic. It's fruity floral. So because it's got the florals in there, and this is so beautiful, the orchid really stands out, but because it's got the florals in there, obviously it makes me think of spring. But the name Wild Island Orchid, on the back it says floral and exotic. You know, for those two reasons, and because it does smell exotic, it definitely, most definitely makes me think of summer. So it's really cool because even though the florals really stand out in here, it really still smells tropical. It makes me think of summer. And I don't know, I think orchid is a tropical flower. I believe that it is. So, you know, maybe orchid itself could make someone think of, you know, a tropical scent anyway. So, but this really makes me think of something tropical. And I think because the orange and the berries were in here, I was thinking that that would be more of what would make you think of a tropical scent. But the orchid in here also makes it smell tropical. And like I was saying, I think that might be a tropical flower anyway. So just orchid on its own could probably make someone think tropical. But because it makes me think tropical, it makes me think of summer, but it also makes me think of spring too. Just a really good one. And then I've got one of these Brooks and Waters fragrances. This is Blackberry Magnolia, and this is just kind of like what it says. And because it's got that magnolia in there, it makes me think of spring. I'm spraying it now so I can smell of it. It makes me think of spring because of the magnolia, but then it's also got that juicy blackberry in there, so it makes me think of summer as well. Okay, and then I have another one from Mariposa. This is Exotic Plum, and this has fragrance note. Oh, it doesn't say. Sometimes these bottles have the fragrance notes on the back, sometimes they do not. So this one just says fruity and floral collection. I think that says it all. It smells very fruity and very floral, and the fruitiness and the floralness in this really, really stand out. And these are like this one and the other Mariposa one that I talked about. They're not in the same collection, but they're both very bold, very fruity and floral at the same time, like very juicy, fruity. The fruitiness in these is especially this one. This one is bold as well, but in a different way. The fruitiness in this, like I said, is bold as well, but in a different way. And then it's very, very bold in this one, and it also has the floral in there. So this just smells like a very juicy plum, sweet, fruity scent with some florals in it as well. So it makes me think of spring and summer. And then next, I love this fragrance right here. I loved a lot of the fragrances from the Victoria's Secret Splash collection. This is the Pure Seduction Splash, and the fragrance notes in this are magnolia petals, juicy watermelon, and then it says Pure Seduction makes a splash. So it's a very watery, fruity, floral fragrance, very beautiful fragrance. And because it has that magnolia in there, it's great for spring, but then it's also got the watermelon in it as well. And so it's also great for summer. And I really love the combination of the magnolia and the watermelon. That's just such a beautiful combination. Like I was saying, I really like to see different combinations with rose, especially fruits, because it just smells so nice. And I'm really loving this too because of the combination of the magnolia and then the watermelon. That's just such an interesting combination because magnolia is beautiful anyways, but then you add that juicy, watery, like watermelon fragrance note to it, and the combination of this is just really, really good. So I really like that. I really appreciate it in the same way that I do different fragrances that have fruity notes that are added to floral notes as well. So really like this one. Makes me think of both seasons. And then the last one that I have over here that makes me think of both seasons is this Bright Mariposa Apricot. This one is so, so good. I've talked about this one in other videos. I believe I talked about it in a haul video and possibly my spring fragrance video as well. I don't remember. It says silky Mariposa flowers flutter with violet and juicy apricot, brilliant bloom. This one is really, really good, and it's exactly what it says. You really smell the apricot in here, and that beautiful Mariposa flower comes through. And then where it says brilliant bloom, I'm assuming that's another kind of like mystery fragrance note that's in here. So I believe that I'm smelling the Mariposa flower when I smell of this, and I smell the florals that are in it. But it could be from this other note, if this is alluding to a mystery fragrance note that has been put in here. Then that could be what I'm smelling, or I could be smelling both. But either way, you definitely smell the fruitiness and the floralness in this. I really like this. And it smells like both seasons to me. Really like it. This one, I think, reminds me a little bit more of spring than it does summer. But I do think at the end of the day, it kind of reminds me of both. But definitely leans more towards spring, I think. Okay, and then we'll get into the ones that make me think more of summer. And we will start with Pomegranate and Lotus by Victoria's Secret. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I really love pomegranate notes, and also really, really love lotus fragrance notes. On the back it says, "Fine balance with the scent of pomegranate and lotus. Botanical inspiration, sheer rejuvenation." So really like this. It is exactly what it says, pomegranate and lotus. The pomegranate is the main star in this fragrance, and it's very, very pomegranate heavy. I mainly smell the pomegranate in this, but then the lotus is in here as well. So it comes through and kind of like lightens it up and just makes it a little bit more lighter. Makes you think of, this one actually kind of does make me think a little bit of spring, even though I put it in the ones that make me think mainly of summer. And I said that it made me think mainly of summer because of the pomegranate in here, but then the lotus comes through and lightens it up and helps it lean towards a little bit more of like a spring fragrance as well. So I guess I could say this makes me think more of both, but it's very sweet. It's very good. It's a little bit floral, and it's just really, really good. Really like this. A bright, beautiful, sweet, fruity fragrance, and I really like it. It's a great one. Okay, and then next I have this Love fragrance by Guess. Really, really like this one. This is another one that I stuck in the summer category, but I feel like this one could make me think of spring too, because it actually looks like there are some peaches on here. But this to me just smells very, very fruity floral. It's very bold in the fruitiness, and it's got the floral in there. A lot like the exotic plum from Mariposa and the flower crown from Mariposa. The same kind of thing as far as being like really bold with the fruitiness, and then also having some of the floral in there as well. A really beautiful fragrance. I really like this one too. Okay, and then I have another Victoria's Secret fragrance, and this is Vibrant Blooming Passion Fruit. Really like this one. On the back it says creamy floral buds burst with passion fruit and peach, vivid flourish. So when I see this one, I mainly think passion fruit, but I do smell the floral in this as well, and I'm sure that the peach probably comes through a little bit. But I put this in the summer category because of the passion fruit in here. Like, that's mainly what I smell when I smell of this. I mainly smell the passion fruit. So that is why I chose to put this one in the summer category. Yes, this smells, to me, it smells watery. It smells floral. And then I smell the passion fruit. Like, that's what I smell without spraying it out, just smelling of the cap. That's what I smell of. But I'm sure, like, once this dries down, the peach probably, yeah, you can, when you actually spray this out, you can smell the peach more too. But because it leans more towards like the passion fruit, like, I kind of feel like the passion fruit kind of like takes over, you know what I mean? Like, so I decided to stick this in the summer category, but it is a really good one and I really like it. Okay, next from Victoria's Secret, we have Garden View, and the fragrance notes are hibiscus and golden starfruit. And on the back it says blooming hibiscus, starfruit, and mandarin, this way to the resort. So really, really love this fragrance. Anything with a hibiscus note makes me think of summer, so that is why I chose to put this one in the summer category. But this one, to me, I'm smelling of it now. Okay, so you really smell the hibiscus and the starfruit, and also the mandarin. So because of that, all of those notes make me think of summer. Mandarin could kind of go either way, but anytime I smell hibiscus, I definitely think of summer. So yeah, so that's why I stuck this one in the summer category. But this definitely smells like what it says. Definitely smells like hibiscus. The starfruit is in there, and then the mandarin as well. So that's kind of what this one smells like. Definitely makes me think of summer. Okay, and then I have one from Bath & Body Works. This is Bahamas passion fruit and banana flower. And this is another one that is fruity floral, but this one right here absolutely makes me think of the summertime. Like, I don't even think about spring when I smell this. This smells straight up tropical. Whenever I make tropical videos in the future, hopefully, this will probably be in those, because this is, as the name implies, Bahamas. This is a very, very tropical fragrance, but it is fruity floral because it says passion fruit and banana flower. This is a packaging that did not have the fragrance notes on the back, so I don't know the specific fragrance notes, but we do know that it has passion fruit and banana flower. So definitely very good fragrance that is fruity floral and definitely makes me think of summer because it is so tropical. This is such a good scent. Like, I'm obsessed with Bahamas passion fruit and banana flower. Love it so much. This is, in my opinion, smells like a luxury fragrance that you would wear if you were at a resort. It's just so good. Like, the passion flowers in there, and it's just very no, passion fruit, not passion flower. The passion fruit is in there, and it's very especially coupled with that banana flower, it's almost like an intoxicating scent, and I just love it so much. I'm gonna step out on a limb and guess that this has other florals in it that are slightly intoxicating, and maybe that's adding to the mix and making it more of an intoxicating scent. But I really love this. It smells so good. Fruity floral that makes me think of summer. And then last on my list of the summer ones is Plumia by Bath & Body Works. And on the back it says, sorry, I had a notification pop up. On the back it says pink plumeria, peach nectar, red apple, night blooming jasmine, and gardenia petals. It's the sweet blossoms combined with sun-kissed fruits and the beautiful ode to the tropics. So this one definitely makes me think more of the summer because it is so tropical, but it does have the peach nectar in there, and anything peach kind of reminds me of spring too. But this one, the peach does not stand out in this one. It just kind of blends with it to create the fragrance that it is. So that's why I chose to put it in the summer category. Also because this is super, super tropical. So it definitely leans way more summer in my opinion than it does spring. I would say because the peach is in there, it makes me think of spring just a little bit. But not so much so that I wanted to include it in the group that makes me think of both, because this one is definitely way more of a summer one, and I associate this one more specifically with summer. So that was the last one on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what fragrances you guys are wearing right now, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Also, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, and I hope to talk to you guys soon, and I hope you'll have a great week. Bye-bye.